Okay, when you look underneath the vehicle, this is the oil pan itself. Actually, it tells you, it says engine oil. This one here is the drain plug. This is the 17 millimeter I was telling you about. Now, when you take this off, there's actually a washer on here. A lot of times the filters come with a new washer. You want to use the new one if the washer is in poor condition. If it's not in poor condition, you can reuse the old one. And up underneath here, we will get a light in there so you can see better. That's the oil filter right up in the front. This is the radiator support up here, and that's where the filter is. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that drain plug out, and we're going to let all the oil drain out first. And once the oil finishes draining, we'll take out that filter. Put this on here like this, and you want to remember counterclockwise off, clockwise on. So we're going to put it on there, just tap it, and it comes right off. And then we'll obviously, you're going to make sure you have a rag handy because it is going to make a little bit of a mess, just not much, but a little bit. All right. Now, you want to have a bucket, a suitable container to actually drain your motor oil into that you're not going to have a problem with. So we're just going to lift it up just a little bit, and then we'll take that out. Now, wear gloves whenever you work on it because motor oil on your hands is never good. So you want to just be very careful with that oil on your hands. Okay, once the oil finishes draining, you just screw your plug in by hand. You don't want to use a ratchet or a wrench or anything right now. You screw it in as far as you can go. And now we'll just snug it down just a little bit more. All right. Okay, so we put this on here like this, and then we just get on here. We're going to move this out of the way for a second. And we get on here with a wrench or ratchet, and then we turn it like that. And once it loosens up, we just take it and turn it out by hand. Make sure you have a bucket below because it is going to leak a little bit. All right, and I will take the filter out. Be careful because you don't want to drop it. Now when you take the filter out, you want to make sure, hang on. Okay, when you take the filter out, you want to make sure that this ring, see that O-ring right there? Sometimes that O-ring sticks up top on the filter housing up there. If that O-ring sticks up there, you'll need to get that off with a screwdriver or whatever you have to pop it off of the car. All right, now the filter itself, when you get the new filter, one second, let me just clean my hands off here. The new filter, you need to lubricate this O-ring right here with clean motor oil, and you're going to put just a slight bead of oil on there, and then once you put that on there, you can screw it onto the vehicle. We're just going to clean off the housing up underneath here with a rag, just so we have no dirt or anything on there. And then we're going to take the filter and screw it on. And you're going to turn it on by hand only. There's no reason to use a wrench to tighten this back on. You make it as tight as you could possibly make it by hand, and then you're good to go. All right, so we're going to clean off the motor oil that's underneath here just like this. And now we'll lower it down, and we'll continue up top. Again, you want to make sure that you're using the correct motor oil. As you can see, this one says 020, so you have to make sure you use the correct oil. Now we know that this one, we looked it up on the computer, and we know that this one holds 4.4 quarts of oil, so that's what we're going to put in there. We're going to take this seal off. Make sure that this part of the seal doesn't fall inside there because you're going to have a problem with that. All right, and now we're going to pour in about 4.5 quarts of oil, and it's marked on the back of the container over here. It's marked, so we're going to put in 4.5. Okay, now I just want to point this out to you as well. Even though you may think that you want to change your oil every 5,000 or 7,000, whatever the dealer recommends, you see this oil? Let me get a light here so you can see. You see what happens to the oil? See how the oil is all white inside there? That's why you want to change your oil more frequently. I always recommend every 3 months or 3,000 miles, because you can see that white oil inside there. That's because the oil is actually mixing with water. It's moisture in the oil, and that's what it looks like. So if that's in your cap, that's in your crankcase as well. So you want to see what I mean about these OTC lights? They take a beating. All right, you definitely want to change the oil more frequently. I'll give you an example of what that looks like. Look at that. That's disgusting, right? All right, so now we have the oil in the car, and you can actually see water inside the very bottom of that. I don't know if you can see it, but look at that. See that water inside there? Watch. See it dripping out of my hands? That's the moisture inside the oil. That's why it's very important to change your oil frequently. My car, my personal car, 3 months, 3,000 miles, religiously. All right, this comes out. We're going to screw our cap. You know what? Let me just show you something else. I'm going to bring you in now and show you this. Look down inside the car. You see all that white inside there? That's what I mean about that moisture mixing with the oil. It's never good. So change your oil frequently, and you'll have your car for a long time. Okay. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to screw our cap back onto the car like that. We're going to start it and let it run for a couple of seconds to get the oil circulating. And then we'll check it again. Always make sure your dipstick is down, all the way down as far as it can go. And as you can see now, it's right up to the full mark. But when I say put the stick in, make sure that it's all the way down as far as it can go, right to there. Like this. All the way down. All right, wipe off any oil that you may have contaminated anything with up here or made a mess of. Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to press, obviously, you're going to have the keys in the vehicle with you. You're going to press this button here to turn all the lights on. You're going to keep your foot off the brake pedal down here so that the vehicle does not start. All right, so we're going to come in, press the button until everything lights up. Once it does, we're going to come up underneath here to this button right here, and we'll press and release until we come up to the oil index. Press and release. Oil life 50%. Now we're going to press and hold this button down until it starts to blink. Takes about 10 seconds. All right, and once it starts to blink, you take your finger off, and then you press and hold it again, and it should take about another 10 seconds, and it resets to 100%. There you go. All right, that's it.